everybody, it's Angela again. Welcome back to my channel. Just want to do the tutorial I promised I would do on the front of this page, so we'll start with that. It's a 3-layered envelope page, so we've got a small envelope there with a tab, we've got another one over here, and we've got a third one at the back here onto this front page. So let's go and have a look at how we tackle this. So I'm just going to put this aside. Now this one, as I said to you, was 4.5 inches by 7 inches wide. I'm now going to make a bigger version of this. So I'm going to make a standard A5 size of this. So you can adapt yours according to what you are doing. So I'm just going to put that over there. So what I do is I take a normal sheet of paper. In the UK this is an A4. You can take your letter piece, and I am just going to fold that in half like you were doing for your subscriber entries. So that's what we're doing there. So I have tea dyed this paper, and you've seen my tea dyeing process on one of my other tutorials. So that's a page, that's the size we're going to work through. And if I measure this in inches, we would then have 5 3/4 inches by 8 1/4. So that's 21 by just 14.5 centimeters. So that's the measurements there. So it's a bit of a difference. So the first thing I did here was I took one of these antique Paperie pages. I'll put the link to the actual kit name, because for the life of me I can't remember now, but it will be there. So I've taken one of these, so printed 2 to a page, and I'm only going to use one of them. So what I'm going to do is just put that to the side, and I'm going to cut out one of these pages here. You can tear it. Let's tear it. So I'm going to first of all take this over here on this side, make it up to the bit there, like that. Leave that one for another thing. Then we're going to just, I think this needs to be a little bit shorter, so yes, I need to just gauge it as you do. So we want to just take off a bit off the bottom there. You don't have to do this, obviously, I'm just doing it for a bit of an effect. And then we're going to take off a bit on this side. If you don't have a ruler like this, you can go onto Amazon or one of those crafty sites. It's called a serrated paper tearing ruler. Paper tearing ruler, I think, if I'm not wrong. And then the little bit at the top here. So there we go. Alright, so you can throw those bits away. Oops, put that away. Bring our page back, bearing in mind you want it to open that way. Well, I do for my purposes, and then I'm going to put that down over there. But what we're going to do first of all is I just want to take some of my ink, and I want to cover up that white on the serrated surface there and just give it a bit of an ink. So I won't bore you with this. I will fast forward this bit. Okay, there we have it. Right, so I'm quite happy with that. We'll collect all our bits together before we do anything on the stitching or the gluing front. So I do like to stitch around my pages. You don't have to do that. You can stick that straight down as it is. I wouldn't do it right now, but when it comes to that part. All right, so that's our base page. Now let's put together our actual envelopes and size those up and get those ready. Now what I'm going to do is I've got 3 envelopes here. I'm going to trim one of them anyway, this one. You can choose 3 envelopes. The sizing depends on what's available. This is what I've got, so I am going to trim one of these, I think. So this one will go on the bottom. This one has one of these types of openings, which is quite useful. The other one has this kind of opening, which is not ideal, but it will work. And then the small one is just one of these little envelopes. So that's what I'm going to use here. Now, why I say don't glue that down yet, we are going to be tucking that underneath there and using that like that. So we'll do that closer to the time. First thing you want to do, we want to take a slither off the opening side on each of these envelopes. So let's just put that aside quickly. You can use your scissors. Now you're not going to take it off this side with a this bit. You're going to take it from the opposite side. So I need my craft knife here, and I like my craft knife and ruler. It's just me. I just like using it. Right, so you want a thin slither off the bottom here first of all. And then what I want to do is, I might be making another slither. I'm just going to see, this is going to be at the bottom, then that will go on top of that, yes, and this will go on top of that. So do I want to cut any off? Do I want to make that a bit shorter? I think I do. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just trying to get the gaps, it's pretty similar. I'm going to cut that off over there. So I'm going to just check it out with this side quickly. Just want to make it a bit shorter, and this is what you can do. So it just shows you, you don't have to have the correct size. You can make adjustments, because I will be stitching it. If you're not going to be stitching it, you'll have to glue it. So that could be trickier. But for my purposes, this will work. So I'm just going to line this up here quickly. And I'm going to just take the same ruler and my cutting knife, my craft knife, line it up here pretty much. And I'm going to just take that bit right off. I'm not going to use that. Okay, so there's one envelope ready to go. As I said, it is open here now, but I will be stitching around there when it comes to putting the piece on the top. So that's better for me. That's then going to fit on there like that. And that on there. In fact, I think I'm going to take a bit more off this side. Just looking at it all together. So do the same. I think I'm going to make it that wide. So again, let's just turn that around. And this just shows you, you can use the envelopes that you have at home and then size them to what you want. Because we can't be buying trillions of different envelopes, although I have about 4 sizes myself. Right, so there we go. I'm happy with that. That's now going to go there in the middle. I'm just checking I'm happy with all these sizes, and then I'm going to put that in the middle like that. So I think I'm happier with that now, and that will look pretty good on this page here, not covering up too much of what's underneath as well. So when I look at it, it'll be sort of in the middle looking like that. So I quite like that. That's looking great, but you can make them as big as or as small as you like. All right, so far so good. That one's going to open over here. This one is going to that's going to tuck there, so we want to slit a little sliver off there, and this one will open the opposite side, so we need a sliver off there. So let's get that ready. So that one is there, so we want to do it on the opposite side. Open the flap up, that's the word, flap, that I was looking for earlier, and then you know you're on the correct side. So let's just take a little slither off that. Right, and then open that flap up, and you want a little slither off there. And as I said, you can use your scissors. So there we go. We've got all our openings. We've got everything prepared so far. Okie dokie. So what we want to do now is we want to put on some pieces of paper onto these three here. So what I've decided to do on this bottom one, I've got a scrap of this wallpaper digital that I got from Amity Bloom, and I thought that brought in some of these beautiful aqua shades and the blue. So I'm going to cut a piece to cover that area there. So let's just put that aside again, and we are just going to line that up. So I just want it to be ever so close to the edge, and get your pencil, just make a little mark so you can see what you're doing. There we go. So cut that piece out. Line that up nicely. Okay. I hope you guys are all doing well at the moment, given what's going on. It is a pretty scary situation for most of us. And me being a teacher, I don't know whether we are going to be closing our schools or not. They say that they will let us know this week. So fingers crossed that they are finding ways to combat this situation, because it is quite worrying for everybody really. It's a global thing, and I know some areas are really bad, worse than others, but you know, it just would be amazing if they could let us tell us sometime soon that they've got it sorted and under control. I think it's going to have a huge effect on the economy, and I think a lot of people, I've got an elderly mum and I do worry about her, as we all would. Right, back to brighter things. That looks pretty, I'm quite happy with that, so that's good. I'm going to put that aside. Then I'm going to find another scrap to cover that little bit there with a bit of a backing paper. And I'm looking, I don't have a scrap, but I'm going to use this piece here. So again, this is what they call this one Nestling. I know that one. This is also antique papery on Etsy. So you could find that there. Right, so I'm gonna get my envelope, and I'm gonna just use this corner bit right here. And again, gonna get my pencil. Hope you can see what I'm doing. All right, so quite close to the edge. So I'm just going to make a little pencil mark there and a little pencil mark there. Right, so, oops, right, there we go, perfect on the line. So we'll do that. I've had a lot of subscriber entry videos lately, so I just want to thank everybody for being so supportive, to everybody who's taken part, and all of you who are supporting those that have taken part. So thank you so much. It's so lovely to see everybody being so kind and supportive of each other. Really amazing. Thank you. This community is just amazing. I'm so glad I'm part of it. I just love seeing how everybody helps and does things and inspires others and is very supportive, even if they're new. So that's just amazing. We were all new once, weren't we? Right, now what I've done is I have got another, this is called Spring Wildflowers from Antique Paperie. And again, I've just copied and pasted a couple and resized these. If you have a look at a previous video I've done on my how to make a junk journal, the first episode, I'll show you some of the things you can do with a computer. So this is what I've done here. I have just, and hopefully this is the right size. There's always that, you know. So hopefully this is the right size or thereabouts, and then I can easily adapt it. And that's going to go at the bottom like that. So our opening's there, so that will be the correct way. Let's see. Oh, pretty much there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just slice off a little bit more off here. There we go. we adapt. That's what I do, I adapt. Okay, so far, let's have a look at it. We have our base page underneath here. That's it. We have our next bit that's going to go over there. And then the next bit on top of that. And then the next bit on top of that. I think that's looking lovely. Okay, so far so good. Right, now what we need to do is, let's find the other bits that we need to do. I like to get it all together and then decide how I'm going to sew what, when, and in which order. So that's the way I would tackle this. So the next thing I needed was a piece of lace that goes in between these two layers here. And I have cut that. So I've got a lovely piece of cotton crocheted lace. This is quite wide. It is nearly 3 inches, so I would say 2 3/4 inches of lace, but obviously have a look what you have. This is just what I had in the drawer. So this is going to go in this spot here, so that's going to go there. We want to pull out a bit more, so I'm just trying to mock it all up. So that'll go there like that. And then the other bit I needed was underneath here. I had the crocheted Tim Holtz die cut, so it's this, if you can see that, which is a die cut from Tim Holtz. I put it on the table to show you. So this is it. It's Tim Holtz die cut. There are 4 dies in here. There's the number. Sorry if that was a bit fast. That's the number for it, and it is called, if I'm not mistaken, crochet comes into it somewhere. Yes, there we go. Crochet. All right, so that's what that is. So I need 2 of these to go just underneath there like that. So I'm going to just take my scissors and cut this in half. I'll use that for another one, and that bit will go underneath here like that somehow, which we'll deal with the details in a bit. Right, and then the other thing I needed to do was, what else did I need to do? I need a butterfly, so I had that kept aside here. So it's one of these, which I got off Pinterest. That goes over there. And we'll put the finer details on at the bottom. And then I had a little word that I've stamped. So I've stamped bloom. So we'll just cut that out. And that'll end up over there. And then we're going to make the journal cards. We'll do that last. So let's get all of this together and then we can take it from there. It's looking really good now. So where to start? What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the little details to the side at the minute, just over there. I'm going to ink up all of these things, and I'm going to stitch around the tops of these before I stick them on. You can't stitch them on over here, because if I go and stitch all around, we will then have a problem where it's going to stitch the whole envelope in and you won't get your tabs in. So that's fine if you're not going to do tabs, but Alright, so I have inked all 3 of those pages like that now. As I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch right round each one of these completely, and then I'm going to put them all together and stitch them down. So I will see you back in a second. Okay, so there we go. I'm back again. I think I've stitched everything that I needed to stitch for the minute. So the only other thing I want to stitch will be this envelope here. So what I will do quickly is I'm just going to, because of course you've got this bit that's open, I just need to stitch across there just to seal it. The other side is sealed. Of course you can glue that if you prefer, but as I was stitching, I'm just going to finish off with stitching there. So now we have our bits sewn, so that's sealed. So there we go, that's for that one. Right, so let's get all our bits and pieces in order again. So that's at the bottom, that's underneath that, and that then is going to be on top here. Right, so what we need to do is we need to assemble all of that. So I'll just put that to the side quickly, and now I'm going to stick this down. So I'm going to get out some glue. I use the 3-in-1, but you can use whatever it is that you like to use. And then I'm just going to run some glue as close to the edge as I can. Now, before I turn that over, I want to take this envelope that we've sewn here, and I'm going to trickily sew, work out which is the right way, and I'm going to stick this to the underside of this page, just the flat bit. So I want to get that pretty central, a bit more up, like that. And then close it so you know it's fitting well, and then just smooth that down, and then put some more glue on that bit so that that will stick. Right, so pick it up quickly and then place that on your page where you want it. So just make sure it's pretty even, and you have a few seconds to get it where you need it. Make sure, of course, that your page is opening over there, because that has happened to me before. And I think I'm pretty happy with all of that, so I'm just going to get my bone folder and smooth that all down. Lift that up and smooth that all over there. That looks good. Looks pretty flat to me. Right, so there we have it. There's the first one down. Okay, so what I'm going to do here quickly, before I throw this stuff around, is I just want to give this a very light dusting, let's say, of distress ink. Just a very light dusting. And now I'm going to get ready to put the next layer on. So of course this will go on top there, but before we stick that down, we've got the same process of having to put this down. So that needs to go underneath that page. So what we should do is really put some glue on this one, like that. There we go, and then get that lined up how you want it, pretty much like that. Fold it over. You can check the centralization of it then, easier, and then press that down nicely. Okay, so that's going to then go on top of that one. Alright, so let's stick that down then. So we'll do that quickly. Make sure you run pretty close to the edge. You want it to stick down nicely, right over the flap. right close here. There we go. Make sure it's well covered. Pick it up, flip it over, and place that down onto your envelope like that. There we go. That looks like where I want it. And again, you can use your hand. I used my hand for ages. But I do like this bone folder, best thing ever. Right, so there we have this one on now. So we've got this flipping up like that. We've got that one flipping down like that. And now we're going to, we'll come back to the lace in a minute. We're going to do the next one. So again, that's got to go on the top over there. And before we stick that down, we want to be able to put that under here. So I think I'm going to have mine central like that. So we want to put some glue on that little flap. There we go. And gauge that, flap it over so you can centralize it nicely. Like that. Excuse the state of my nail polish at the moment. I need to do that later. Right, so that's like that, and then we're going to stick that down like that. So again, turn that over, cover all the bits. Right to the corners, right to the top. I do like this glue, and it's a new one, so it's not playing up yet. Alright, so again, you've got a few secs just to get that where you want it. It needs to move down a bit. Centralize that nicely, and again, run that to the top, and of course to the bottom as well. There we go. So quite happy with that. All right, so now we've got the last bit to go on here. What I want to do is to have my little lacy bits sticking out the side here like that. So you've got your little lace bits sticking out the side and peeking through over there like that. So what I'm going to do then, turn that over, put some glue just on the side that we're going to be gluing like that. Flip this over, just line it up where I want it, which is about there like that. Just check I've got it even. Oh, I'm quite happy with that. And now you can put the glue on the rest of the bits. There we go. Again, close to the edge. Like that. And we are then going to stick that on here. So let's just do that there. There we go. So that looks pretty accurate. Okay. Gently does it. There we go. Right, so we've layered up all those bits there so far. So that's going to lift up, that's going to open up, and then that's going to open up. Now we need to tackle a few other things first before we start with the tab making. The journal card, sorry. So I need to, I want to just decorate the undersides of these. So what I do is I just take one of my stencils. So I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to take one of my distress inks. Just use a brush, works well with a brush, and then just go and do this, and you can do it all over or in part, just to sort of give it a bit of an aged look. So there we go, that's just ever so light, just don't want the white. And then I'm going to do it on this side as well. So again, let's do that there, and this time I'm going to use this side. like that. There we go. Just gives it a nice finish, and then the last one over here as well. Alright, so that's what I do with that. Okay, so there we have that all sorted. Now, what we need to do is we are going to stick some lace over here. Now, the lace piece is just short. It's nice and wide, and I want it just to peek out like that. So, if I leave that like that, it pretty much comes over there, but be very wary that you don't go over this, because your journal card is going to go there. And remember, with the flap on this one, the back of the journal card will be peeking out there. So go up to that point where your lace is going to go, and then just don't go over that area there. So I've done that. So putting on some of this 3-in-1, which is great for paper and lace. You just run it all over. As I said, just be mindful of that area. There we go. And then we should just be able to drop that on like that. Line it up where you're happy and give it a nice press. Hopefully I haven't stuck the other papers underneath. Who knows? Right, so hopefully I haven't. I didn't think so. Right, so there we go. That's perfect. And that will dry nicely while we're busy with the rest of the stuff. Okay, so let's finish with the top details. So again, I'm just going to take, some thread on there. I've got my little stamped word. And you can use anything you want. I'm just going to use one of these that I've stamped. And I'm just distressing the edge quickly. There we go. So that I'm going to put over there, and then I'm just going to take I've got some of this very soft and light that I've dyed, tea dyed cotton in strips, and all I want to do is I want to put it, it's a perfect width for doing this, so I'm just going to nip that there like that, and I'm going to quickly pull it and then I just pull off a few bits on each side just to fray it up a bit. There we go, like that, and then that can go on there. Alright, so let's take the word upside down like that, and line that up, move it over, there we go, and then put that right over and just glue that then to your, in the top of this, wherever you want this. So I thought that would be a good place, right there like that. Alright, so it's coming up together really nicely. I've just got a bit of a thread there that's bugging me, so now it's gone. And then I'm going to just take my butterfly, run some of the distress just to take those little white bits away, because I don't like seeing white when I fussy cut something. And then we're going to stick that. But just be careful you don't stick it and stick something down, so it'll need to be a little bit lower like that. And then I've just bent up the wings a bit like that, just to give it a bit of dimension. and then I'm going to stick one of these little beads that I have onto the body. So we'll put one of those on there, just a little finishing touch. There we go. So that will go over there, and that will go over there. Right, so we've got all of that sorted. It's looking lovely. You can distress the edge of your page if you want to. I might do that at a later point. Sometimes I stencil under here as well, so that happens. So while that's all drying nicely, what we want to do now is quickly make 3 cards to fit in there. So let's just quickly grab some card. Now what I'm going to use is some of this, which is food packaging. I love the color of this lovely cream recycled paper, so perfect. And what I do is, when I'm doing this, I shove my ruler down here and I see how far it's going to go. So that's going to comfortably go 8 centimeters, and this way I'm going to get probably just short of 5.5. So I'm going to measure off 8 centimeters. Let me just put this to the side quickly, and grab my knife. So I want just short of 5.5. We're looking at there. So let's cut that off quickly. Just like that. And then we want 8.5. So 8.5 easily. Right, so that's that way. Okay, so if we put that there and take a slither off there, that should fit into our first envelope. So let's just tuck that like that and check. Yeah, that would be absolutely perfect. So there's number 1. Okay, now number 2 goes in this side. That goes in there. So you want to get a good 8 centimeters, and then we're looking at about 10.5. So 8 by 10. We want that way. While I'm over here looking at it, I just want to put a little bit more of a bead of glue here while we're doing that last one. So just lean that back a bit. There we go. So leave that just to dry nicely while we do that. Take that off the glue. Okay, and then 8 by 10. So this is, oh, so that's the right width pretty much. And then I want to get 8 centimeters this way. So we'll just slice that off there quickly. I think it was slightly too wide. So if I just do a little bit of a slither off this side, like that, I think that would be perfect. Right, so there we go. Let's lift this up. And hopefully open it. And then that should fit in there, and that's perfect for that too. So there we go, there's card number 2. And then all we need now is the very last one, which I think that would be too short, so I'll just take another piece I have here. Just measuring it up quickly. Gauging it, and then I'll do that afterwards. So another piece of card. That'll be the right width, I think, and then it's just a case of shortening it a bit. So let's just put that down there, and we'll make it about this length. That looks about straight, like that, and then just straighten up the side like that. Oops. There we go. So there we have our 3 cards now. So that should fit in there, no problem at all. Right, so all we need to do now is cover these. So the first one, I put the same as the wallpaper bit. So we'll put a piece of that on there, and I think that would fit perfectly there. So all I need now is my glue stick. Here it is. So turn that over, put on the back of this packaging, stick that down like that, and cut around it. So you can use your scissors. I'm going to use this. Just go slowly. Just go slowly if you're using a knife. But because the card is quite thick, it's just following alongside it. So there we go, there's the first one, perfectly cut. Right, number 2, what did I do for number 2? I can't remember. Oh yes, I had one of those cards in there, so let's see if that's going to fit, because it is a slightly different size. So we'll try that. I did have them somewhere here. Somewhere. And my pile of stuff, as you do. Right, so let's try. I had these are, as I said, the spring wildflowers from Amity Paperie. So hopefully one of these are going to work. It's going to be slightly too short, but I'm going to trim the card, so that's all right. So I think I'm going to put this one on because I really like that. That's pretty. So let's just cut that out quickly. And we'll trim it up with a knife in a minute. So we've got that there. Right, so let's see how our card looks. So if we put that over there, and we pretty much, it's just the end bit that's a bit short, so that's fine because it does peek through on the other side, so no problem with that. So we'll just do that and line it up like that. And then we can trim and make it straight as we want it. So the first thing I want to do is this piece here. So let's just line it up on my board. There we go. And take that bit off. Zim! Dog woke up when I did that. She thinks I'm going to take her toy. Oh my goodness, I've just got the dog settled. She's been whining at me all day. Wants my attention the minute I sit down to do some recording, then she wants my attention. It's just like kids. Right, and then we'll just take a slither off the bottom there, and I think I'm pretty happy with that. Right, so that's the second one done. Right, and then the very last one, what did we do there? That was the one with the egg. So let's see, I think I do have some right here somewhere. Yes, I do. So it was this one here. So hopefully that's not too big for the card. So let's just take that off there. Okay. Yeah, I think I got that pretty spot on. There we go. Okay, so there we go. That's not bad at all. All right, so we've got our 3 cards. So I'm going to make tabs quickly. I do have one of these. And lovely Carol did give me some gorgeous whale tail tabs. I don't want to use them, Carol, because oh my gosh, I just want to look at them. No, well, what's the point you're going to be saying to me? Use them, woman. So let's see if I can find 3 that are going to match here. Alright, so we've got that lovely colour. We've got 3 like that, so that's gorgeous. Oh, that's pretty too. Very pretty. So, oh yeah, she's given me loads and loads and loads. I think I'm going to go with the 3 that match. That looks lovely. Oh, Carol, you're such a sweetie. I don't want to use them. These are so beautiful. I just want to look at them. I'm sad, aren't I? Right. Yeah, thank you, Carol. Carol from Oak House Journals. Right. Oh, I do love these. These are gorgeous. So, if you like me and you don't have these, you can use a different kind of punch, because I've got this tab punch, which makes tabs that sort of look like this. Or, like I always say to you, if you don't have anything like that at all is not lost. What you can do is you just fold a piece of paper to the width of the tab that you want, like I'm doing there, and then cut it to the length that you want. Yeah, you can use it like that, or you can, if you do have one of these corner rounders, you can take your corner rounder and just round off the corners like that. And there you have a perfectly decent tab. How's that? All right, so there are options. You don't have to have a whale tail punch. Although now that I've got them, I've just come dying to use it now, so I'm going to use it. It's a case of folding these in half. Isn't that lovely? I just love these. And like that. There we go. So I'll keep that because I'll probably use that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just stick some glue on here and stick it on the end like that. Just getting my... Alright, so that's what we're going to do. And then I will stitch over those when I'm going round. So put some glue on the underside first. Yeah. And then the top bit. And then stick it to the bottom. I'm just lining them up here, and then put that bit over there. Just make sure they're central. Oh, there we go. That looks lovely. There we go. That's lovely. I think that just needs to move along a little bit. There we go. That's centralized now. Isn't that perfect? All right. Now you don't have to, but I am going to stitch probably around that, and then the same with the next ones. Okay, there we have it. Right, all that needs to do that remains to be done, she said, is just give those a quick stitch. I'll join you in a second. Okay, so all that needs to be done now is for us to put these in here, and then there's just one or other little thing to do. So the first one, we'll put this one in here first. So that's going to slide in there perfectly, like that. Then we've got this one, and that goes in over here. Let's just put a little bit of distress ink on the bottom here because it's looking at me very white. There we go. That's just taken the edge off there. So that's going to slide in over there like that. And then the last one, isn't that such a pretty picture? That's going to go into this bit over here. Oops. So that's going to slide in like that over there. So there we go. There's everything there. Why is that going like that? Oh, that's perfect. Right. Oh, little butterfly. Okay, so now what we need to do there, just press this down. Normally I had a little die cut going on there, so I just want to grab that quickly. So I had a little bit of a die cut going on over there and another little bit of a fussy cut. Go. So that can, I think we'll have that there, and we'll have that sticking out like that over there. I think that's gorgeous. So let's stick this one first. Just give it a little bit more texture and dimension when you combine a couple of different things together. I quite like it. Right, so that's going to go over here. Oh, just wipe that off nicely. And then just put some glue on this die cut, which is from the Tim Holtz Wildflowers again. I do like his Sizzix die cuts. So just put on some glue like that. And then, how did I have this? It was a little bit over, so I'm going to just stick it like that. There we go, just pat that nicely. Make sure all the bits are stuck down. Right, so there we have that. And I think that's about it. So let's just have a little double check here. We had our butterfly, and that's all perfect. We've got our tabs, we've got our layering there, and I like that with a bit of a font and script over there. And then we've got our tab there, we've got our lace sticking nicely. You can see where the tab, the card does come through. And then we've got this base over here, the wallpaper, and then the card over there like that, and then the base. So there we go. How's that? So that's our very first page that we have created for our flip over. So if you join me again next time, I will show you how to create this inside pocket as well, which will won't take us very long. All right, so thank you so much for joining me today. You can see the different sizes. I hope you've enjoyed watching this tutorial, and I hope it's given you some great ideas for your page layout. So join me again very soon. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.